Hello students and welcome back to class. Previously, we talked about the characteristics of living organisms. But in today's class, we want to look at the differences that exist between plants and animals. And if you are joining my channel for the first time, please do well to subscribe, like, sit tight, let's enjoy the lesson together. Alright, so what features separate plants from animals? Now, to address this question, as it is aptly captured on the board, the fundamental difference that exists between plants and animals lies in the method in which these two groups of organisms obtain their food. In an ecosystem, for instance, plants are often described as the producers because they have the unique ability to synthesize their own food in the presence of sunlight, making use of essential raw materials such as water and carbon dioxide to produce simple sugar and oxygen, which is often referred to as the byproduct. This is called photosynthesis. But animals, on the other way around, lack such ability and are therefore left with no other option than to depend on plants directly or indirectly for their survival. And on the basis of this, animals are therefore classified into three groups. And so we have the first group of animals referred to as herbivorous animals. And these are animals that feed on plant materials only and includes examples such as the rabbit, the cow, elephant, zebra, giraffe, grasscutter, and numerous other examples. We have the second category or the second group of animals on the basis of their feeding mechanism referred to as the carnivorous animals. And examples of such animals include members of the cat family, including the lion, tiger, jaguar, the leopard, and of course the hyenas. And lastly, we have the omnivores. These are groups of animals that feed on a variety of food substances. And of course, man is a typical example of this group. We have other examples as the pig and of course the birds. Now, let's take a look at other features that separate plants from animals. And as captured on the board, I am saying that plants are able to store their excess food in the form of starch, whereas animals store their excess food in the form of glycogen. 2. Growth in plants is said to be apical, whereas growth in animals is called intercalary. Apical growth implies that plant is often growing towards the root tips or the shoot tips. In other words, plant shows positive hydrotropism and of course positive phototropism. The roots of the plant growing towards water source or moisture, whereas the shoot is often growing towards the sunlight. And of course, in animals, it is called intercalary, implying that growth in animals is not towards one direction, but evenly distributed amongst all body parts. Alright, the next feature that separates plants from animals lies in the way in which they exchange gaseous materials. And so in plants, gaseous materials or gaseous exchange takes place through stomata and of course nematophores. Stomata are the tiny holes found on the undersurface of the leaves of plants. And of course nematophores are the roots of plants found in waterlogged environments, in swampy environments, and typically the white mangrove. So they possess breathing roots. This root comes out of the water, the swamp, and they are used basically for breathing. They are called nematophores. Whereas in animals, we have the gills, lungs, and of course the moist skin in case of the amphibians as means of gaseous exchange. Again, plants are stationary organisms, whereas animals are motile in nature. However, there are some animals that show very limited movements, like animals found in the bottom of the ocean. They get themselves attached to substratum using basal beaks, such as the hydra, the sponges, and of course the sea anemone. Another feature that separates plants from animals is the absence of excretory organs in plants, whereas in animals we have excretory organs such as the kidney, and of course the malphidian tubules found in insects. Then again, we have the fact that plants show slow response to external stimulus, whereas animals show very fast response to stimulus. And lastly, plants shows unlimited growth, whereas animals show very limited growth. That is to say, plants, particularly the perennial plants, they continue to grow year in, year out, bringing out new flowers, new branches, new leaves, growing taller and taller every now and then. Whereas in animals, there are specific number of organs that animal will have, and once those organs have been met, animal will no longer produce more other organs. And so the differences between plants and animals, as summarized by this lesson, implies that the fundamental difference between plants and animals lies in the way in which they feed. And of course, plants are able to photosynthesize, whereas animals lack such ability. And by summary, plants store their food in the form of starch, animals store their food in the form of glycogen. Plants undergo apical growth and animals undergo intercalary growth. Growth in plants again is unlimited, whereas growth in animals is very limited. Plants show very slow response to stimulus, whereas animals show very fast, almost automatic response to stimulus. And of course, in terms of gaseous exchange, plants carry out gaseous exchange through stomata and nematophores, whereas in animals, gaseous exchange is made possible through the moist skin of some animals like members of the class amphibians, and of course, lungs and gills found in fish. And so, if you are joining my class for the first time, please do well to subscribe and like the channel, and let's keep learning together. Good day, class.